Hello, everybody. Welcome to Dude with a Fork. My name is Ken. On today's episode of Ken Cook Stuff, we are making a spicy winter vegetable soup. It's hearty, it's filling, it's very nutritious, and it's just the thing when cold weather sets in and you feel like something filling and satisfying and a little bit spicy, but you don't feel like chili. It's not a whole lot of work, doesn't take a lot of ingredients, so let's get started. All right, so to make our spicy winter soup, we're going to start out with some aromatic kind of things. So I've got a red onion, I've got a couple of cloves of garlic, and some tomato paste. That's what's going to go in first, along with our vegan chorizo. This is the soy chorizo from Trader Joe's. This stuff is really good. Then our main vegetables, we're going to use regular white potatoes. I've got some sweet potatoes under here. Going to want about 2 cups of these each. I've got a couple of carrots and a couple of stalks of celery. I'm shooting for about a cup of each. Have a cup of red lentils and a 14.5 ounce can of diced tomatoes. And then for spices, I have a teaspoon of salt, and I'm using seasoning salt just to get a little bit of extra flavor. I have a teaspoon of smoked paprika. Over here we have a teaspoon of mixed herbs. Use whatever you like. I'm just using the Aldi's version of Mrs. Dash's table blend. I like this, so I use it a lot. If you have something else you like, use that instead. And the 2 things we don't see are I'm going to need 2 cups of water and 2 cups of vegetable or chicken broth. So I'm going to start peeling and chopping, and I will meet you at the stove. All right, so I have my large soup pot here that is heating up. I think this counts as a Dutch oven. I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of oil to it, and we're going to start by sauteing our onions. And these red onions always look gorgeous when you chop them up. So we're going to get everybody in there and start sauteing these guys. And all I'm looking for at this point is to release a little bit of flavor, because that flavor from the onions is oil based, so I want to get it into the oil, out of the onions and into the oil. And yeah, so I'm going to get these sauteed up and be right back in a minute here. All right, so you can see that we have a lot of steam coming off of these onions. We're cooking some of the moisture out. They're looking good. They've been in here a couple of minutes. I'm going to go ahead and add this soy chorizo. And this does not need to be super cooked as if it were meat-based. And the idea is I should be able to just squeeze it out of this tube, because it comes in a casing that you can just cut in half. And no, it's not going to work out that way. So I'm just going to slice the tube open like this, and we'll get it out that way. There we go. So if you're wondering about how spicy this vegan soy chorizo is from Trader Joe's, it's got a really nice spicy flavor to it, but it's not hot in any way like with jalapenos. I don't think so. People who are sensitive to chili powder might have an issue with it. The other thing is, notice I put it in second. If you're using if you're going to go ahead and make this with an actual meat-based chorizo, put the meat in first and cook some of the fat out of it. Just render the fat out of it and make sure the meat is thoroughly cooked. And then add your onions. You probably won't need additional oil, because traditional chorizo that's made with pork or pork and beef is fairly fatty. So that's kind of the whole point of sausage, really. So that's in here. This is pretty much cooked. So I am going to add, I have my garlic, I'm going to go in with our tomato paste first. And then I have my garlic that I have chopped up roughly. And we're going to get those going. And notice we are, I don't need that spoon. I'm just going to get everything mixed here. Notice we are getting a nice little bit of fond over here in the corner. Okay, which is good. That fond is flavor. So I'm going to go in with my smoked paprika. And the nice thing about a soup or a stew like this is that it's a lot of peeling and chopping, but it comes together really quickly, and then all you got to do is simmer it. I'm going to turn the heat down just a little bit and bump into my camera in the meantime. All right, so that is looking good. Got all of those oil-based flavors mixed in with that oil. And I'm going to show you something. I'm going to talk about this later, but I'm going to pull all this to one side. Notice all the fond is over here and none over here. That's because this stove sucks. This half of the burner gets really hot, and this half of the burner doesn't. So it's the stove. I've tried replacing the burners. There's nothing I can do about it. I just need to move to a whole new apartment. So I'm going to add my chicken stock. And for my chicken stock, I just mixed up some chicken base with some water. So I will come back later and get all the rest of that out. We still need another 2 cups of water at the very least. So if you're thinking, wow, that looks like chili, you're not far off the mark. So I'm going to go in with my sweet potatoes. I'm going to let these cook. I'm going to bring this up to a boil and let these cook for about 5 or 10 minutes, simply because they're going to take longer to cook than all the other vegetables. So we'll be right back in 10 minutes. All right, so it's been about 10 minutes. Let's get the lid off of this. And remember, always turn these lids up away from you so you don't get a face full of steam. Ooh, and that is looking nice. Oh, look at that. Now remember, we're not trying to cook these sweet potatoes all the way through. We're just giving them a little bit of a head start. So I am going to go ahead and add all the rest of our ingredients. So I have our carrots, our celery, everybody in. And of course, the only downside to making a dish like this is you end up with a lot of dishes to wash. But you can eat this pot of soup all week long. So you're done cooking, and you are done, my friends, cleaning pots and pans. Here are 4 cups of potatoes. I may have misspoken at the beginning and said 2. I meant 4. And I did have these underwater so that they would not turn brown while we were cooking, and I just went ahead and drained them. So I actually like to peel the potatoes first and just get that out of the way, and then just keep them underwater. So that's looking kind of chunky. Going to go in with our can of tomatoes. And I did go through, even though these are the Kirkland Organic, and this is a really high quality brand, with chopped tomatoes like that, the diced tomatoes, sometimes you do get little bits in there that aren't ripe at all. So I went through and I picked all of those out. And wow, oh my gosh, this is looking so amazing. What am I forgetting? Oh, our lentils. If I can avoid knocking things over. And I did go through and just look for any little small stones or anything. Didn't find any. Rinsed them off. And you know, I think I'm going to need more than 2 cups of water to get all of this cooked. But let's get this stirred up here a little bit. This is looking absolutely amazing. I would have picked up some parsley at Aldi yesterday, but they wanted like $1.50 for fresh parsley. Like, oh, that would look so pretty on this, but yeah, not going to happen. So, and of course, this is tap water, but looks a little yellow because I just rinsed out the same cup that I made our stock in. And so I'm going to bring this up to a boil and then turn it down to a simmer. And I am thinking, because those lentils are going to absorb quite a bit of water, I'm going to go ahead and put in 1 more cup right now. And that's it. This is all we have to do, folks. I am going to bring this up to a boil, turn it down to a simmer, and just let it cook. I'm going to go in every few minutes and give it a stir. And about every 10 minutes, give it a stir. And if it looks like it's going to need more water, if it looks like it's getting too thick, I will add water a cup at a time, and I'll keep track of that and let you know how much I ended up adding total. So we'll be back when it's done. See you then. All right, so here's our soup. I think I added a total of 4 cups of water. So we had 2 of chicken stock or vegetable stock, your preference, and then 4 of water. Sometimes it depends on what the conditions are like, how much water you'll actually need. You could add more water and make this into a soup. You could add less water and make it into a stew, but everything's looking really good. The red lentils have just completely broken down, which is fine. They're making it a little bit thicker. If you have folks who don't like red lentils or think they don't like red lentils, add them in at the beginning like I did. They completely disappear for the most part. But if you have folks who like them and want to be able to see them, add them in at the end, and they only take about 10-15 minutes to cook. So I'm going to let this cool a little bit and get some of this served up, and I have a special treat that we're going to eat this with over at the table. I will see you there. All right, and this is what we have. It's so gorgeous. The entire house smells amazing. I also made some cornbread. Remember, I always say, oh, I should have made cornbread with this, and I finally did. I made it in the air fryer, so it turned out a little darker than I was thinking, but it's actually beautiful. So yes, we have cornbread finally. And I'll put the recipe up for that. It's just the one on the side of the box, but it works out rather well. I'll figure out the whole air fryer thing eventually. So if you look at this, like I said, our lentils have broken down quite a bit, adding a lot of richness and body to this. And the lentils and the sweet potatoes are really the nutritional powerhouses here. A lot of your vitamins, a lot of your minerals, a lot of the iron, a lot of the fiber comes from them. So I'm just going to come in here and get a bite with the sweet potato in it and see what we think. Oh, that is so good. It's warm. It's very warm. It's the kind of thing for a cold, rainy autumn day. And the tomatoes add just the right note. And you get a little bit of that smokiness from the paprika. Oh my gosh. Oh wow. Oh my God. This turned out absolutely amazing. Wow. So it's a lot of peeling and chopping. Oh my gosh. Very tempted to try this with a meat-based chorizo, but this is so healthy with the vegan chorizo. It's just unbelievable. I probably would put a bit more garlic in it, I think, but you know, to each his own. I had 2 rather big chunky cloves in there. All right, so let's get in here with a little bit of this cornbread and get some of that on there. I love cornbread. Oh gosh. Oh yeah, you have to have the cornbread. Oh my goodness. Oh. Wow, this is amazing. When you want something warm, you want something filling, you want something kind of spicy, but you don't feel like chili, this is just the ticket. Oh my gosh. And that vegan chorizo from Trader Joe's, I think it's still like $2.69 or $2.79 when I bought that a few weeks ago, so it's not terribly expensive. Oh my gosh. Well, there we are. Thank you so very much for watching. I really appreciate it. As always, if you like this recipe, please go ahead and click that like button. If you try it yourself or you have questions, please come back with a comment and let us know. And as always, if you want to see more recipes like this, please go ahead, hit that subscribe button, click on the bell icon to get notifications. Usually I'm trying to get videos up on Sundays. And as always, stay safe, eat great foods, and power to the proletariat. We will see you next time.